You sit in the front seat of your car, the engine humming quietly as you stare out into the thickening dusk. Trees loom on both sides of the narrow road, their gnarled branches twisted like the fingers of some skeletal hand reaching out from the earth. Shadows deepen, elongating as if they're stretching towards you, beckoning you to turn back. But you've come too far to turn around now. The cabin stands at the end of this winding dirt path, a relic from an age long forgotten. You could feel the weight of solitude pressing against you, a dense fog enveloping your thoughts like a heavy quilt. You step out of the car, the metallic click of the door echoing in the stillness. Instinctively, you gather your belongings, a small bag packed with essentials, a few books to fill the quiet hours, and a flashlight, just in case the power goes out, like it is so prone to do in these old places. The porch creaks as you make your way up the steps, and you pause for a moment, testing the air for any hint of familiarity. But there's nothing, just an echo of long-forgotten laughter, a sigh of wind moving through the trees that feels almost like a whisper. Inside, the cabin is exactly as you remember it. Rustic, cozy, practically charming. The smell of aged wood and mothballs fills the air, mingling with something stale and close. You close the door behind you, locking out the encroaching night. The flickering light from the single bulb above casts uneven shadows on the walls, and as you set your things down, a subtle shift in the atmosphere makes you pause. Was there something there, just at the edge of your vision? You shake your head, dispelling the notion. It's just the wind, or perhaps a wayward branch tapping against the window. You spend the rest of the evening unpacking your things, arranging the few personal touches you brought with you, a photograph of better times, a small plant that craves the sun. Each movement draws your attention to the cabin's peculiarities, the strange layout of the rooms, the uneven floorboards that feel almost alive beneath your feet, the way the walls seem to lean in ever so slightly, as if they're holding their breath. Outside, the forest looms, dark and impenetrable, a quiet reminder of how far removed you are from the rest of the world. As you settle into your first night, wrapped in a blanket with a book in your lap, the cabin begins to shift around you. A low sigh of the wood settles, the wind howls through the trees, and the shadows seem to stretch longer across the floor as time goes by, playing tricks on your tired eyes. You read a sentence over and over, the words blurring as exhaustion pulls you deeper into its grip. That's when the first unsettling sound breaks through your concentration, a soft thump from somewhere in the house, almost like a footfall absorbed by the floorboards. You freeze, holding your breath, listening intently for any hint of a repeat. Was it just your imagination? It would be so easily dismissed if you hadn't been so attuned to the sudden shift in the air, a heaviness that hangs around you like a spectre. You stand, setting down the book with its unheeded words, and walk cautiously toward the source of the sound. The back of the cabin stretches into tight corridors, a narrow hallway that feels more like a spine than a passageway. You check each room, the bedroom, laden with shadows, the small kitchen, pot and pan still gleaming with remnants of past meals, the tiny bathroom, where mildew decorates the corners like a spider's web. Each time you find nothing but darkness, your heart beats a little faster, pumping dread through your veins. But when you finally peer into the last room, a windowless space at the end of the hallway, you stumble upon an unexpected sight. A door, slightly ajar, its wood splintered around the edges as if someone had tried to force it open. You don't remember there being a door here before. Cautiously, you push it open wider, the creaking hinge echoing your nervousness. Inside is a small, almost claustrophobic room, void of furniture. Dust particles dance in the thin beam of light that spills in from the hallway, swirling like tiny worlds lost in an expanse of disorientation. And it's then that you notice the floor, no longer just wooden boards, but a trapdoor set firmly in place, an oddity that sends shivers racing along your spine. Your heart quickens, a relentless drum echoing in your ears as a sense of wrongness courses through you. You hadn't planned on exploring that room. You hadn't expected this hidden space to be part of the cabin's character. Against every instinct telling you to turn away, you reach down, your fingers brushing the cold, smooth surface of the trapdoor. You hesitate, fear mingling with curiosity. Something in you wakes to the old tales of what might linger beneath, the whispered secrets buried deep, waiting to resonate with your presence. Biting your lip, you lift the latch and slowly pull it open. The door creaks, the sound unnaturally loud in the silence, revealing a set of stairs that disappear into darkness. The abyss beckons. You linger at the edge, flashlight in hand, contemplating every possibility. If you find something, would you be prepared for what it might be? But the allure is too strong. It feels like something forgotten, something that once belonged, and your heart urges you forward despite the cold fingers of fear clutching at your throat. You slowly descend the stairs, each creaking step reverberating in the stillness like an incantation, a promise of whatever lies beneath. As you reach the bottom, your flashlight beam cuts through the thick blackness. The air here is stale and unwelcoming, and it carries a whisper of unease that clings to your skin. You find yourself in a very small cellar, barely large enough to hold your breath. Cobwebs drape like veils from the rafters, and the walls seem damp, the smell of earth pressed like a weight on your shoulders. It feels like you've stepped into a memory, an echo of a time long past, and yet the walls around you pulse with life as if you're not alone. In the corner, something glimmers, an object half buried under old, rotting hay. You approach it, hoping for some insight, perhaps a token of the cabin's history, an artifact that would reveal its past. You dig through the hay, fingers trembling with anticipation. Finally, your hand touches something cool and smooth. You pull it free, revealing a tarnished silver locket, intricate in design but marred by the years. You turn it over in your hands, entranced by its beauty. It feels heavier than it looks, charged with a sense of purpose that makes your pulse quicken. You open it, holding your breath. Inside, instead of the familiar faces of lovers or family, there are two blank spaces where images should have been, a deep void staring back at you, consuming. You feel a pang of disappointment, but something warns you this isn't all there is, that its worth lies deeper. You glance around, the sense of wrongness deepening, wrapping around you like a cloak. You wish you could shake the feeling off, but the cellar's tomb-like silence envelops you, creeping into the spaces between your thoughts. From above, a gust of wind rattles the floorboards, and you shiver. Just as you begin to move back toward the stairs, a sudden noise breaks the stillness, a soft thump, then another, echoing from somewhere above. It's deliberate, almost rhythmic, a pulse synchronized with your own racing heart. You hold your breath, your instincts screaming at you to leave, to escape the dark, oppressive weight of this place. But curiosity, so insatiable, tugs at your mind as you inch toward the door. As you climb the stairs, pulse racing, a primal dread takes root in your gut. What if you're not alone? The stillness of the cabin above feels different now, suffocating, like the calm before a storm. You open the door at the top, peering into the dimly lit corridor, where shadows linger like lost souls waiting for a home. Then comes the whisper, faint, tantalizing and close, a sound that curls around your ears like smoke. Stay with me. It breathes, sighing through the hollow of the air. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck rise as chills skate down your spine. Every part of you tells you to bolt for the door and never look back. You retreat into the room, pressing against the walls as if they could shield you from the unseen presence that now permeates the cabin. Your breath catches, and panic begins to settle like ice in your veins. You should have taken that as your cue to escape, but an insidious curiosity grips you, an inexplicable desire to understand what you've unwittingly disturbed. Your mind races through every story you've ever heard about spirits bound to the earth, tales of loss that linger long after a life has ended, unfulfilled and seeking resolution. You cast a glance at the locket, a frigid reminder of your intrusion. Unresolved memories are volatile. They trap you, ensnare you, drawing you closer even as they promise despair. As the shadows in the room undulate in a dance of uncertainty, you make your way to the front window. The trees outside bend and sway, their limbs brushing against the glass, casting wraith-like shapes into the room. The dark mass shifts, and for a brief moment, you think you see something flit between the trunks, a flash of movement that pulls your gaze deeper into the darkness. A figure? You could almost convince yourself it was just your imagination, but something latent pulls at you, urging you to study the shapes closer. You grip the window frame tightly, steadying yourself against the sheer terror creeping into your bones. And then you see it again, a fleeting glimpse of a face, pale and elongated, just beyond the reach of light. Your breath halts, a spike of fear gripping your chest with fingers icy as death itself. It vanishes behind the trees, a mere memory caught in the shadows, and you stumble back from the window, heart racing fiercely. You're not alone here. Not now. The thumping returns, echoing through the cabin with relentless determination, drawing you down the hallway. It's unmistakable, each pulse vibrating in your bones. Stay with me, it calls again, and this time it's clearer, more persuasive, wrapping around your thoughts like a lover's embrace. Caught between fear and intrigue, you step forward, drawn back toward the unsettling mysteries lurking in the dark corners of the cabin. The living room is dim. The old furniture stands sentry-like, observing your every move. You feel the shifting weight of the air coalesce around you, pressing, a tangible thing alive with energy. Just as you think you can breathe again, the front door creaks open wide, flung open by a wind that shouldn't be possible in this stillness. A chill washes over you, cold enough to brush the surface of your skin like fingers trailing down your spine. As the door swings, the shadows spill across the floor, distorting and twisting, and someone, steps into the cabin. You can hardly believe your eyes, and yet there it stands, a figure clothed in darkness, features obscured by the dance of light and shadow. It feels as though the very room is alive with breath, vibrating with a sense of expectation as the apparition advances with deliberate grace. "Stay," it whispers, the plea reverberating through the chill-laden air, and you realize that it's no longer a voice in the wind. It's real. It's tangible and encroaching, an ethereal being stretching its reach toward you, wanting you to embrace it, to become part of its haunting narrative. In your core, dread escalates to terror. The weight of inevitability becomes unbearable. You can feel your back pressed against the wall, yet your feet are paralyzed, caught in the grip of something ancient. As the darkness envelops you, you comprehend something chilling but undeniable. The locket you discovered wasn't just a relic. It was a key, a connection bridged between your world and the forlorn spirit woven into the fabric of this isolated cabin. Finally, breaking the paralysis, you turn and sprint back toward the door, heart pounding deafeningly. You leap across the threshold, barreling out into the night, propelled by sheer survival. The wind screams in your ears, trees crackle overhead, but you don't stop running until you reach your car. Breathless, you fumble for the keys, hands trembling as you ram them into the ignition. The engine sputters and roars to life, and as you look back at the cabin, illuminated like a beacon by your headlights, you see it, a fleeting silhouette standing by the window, watching you with unwavering intensity, its gaze heavy with expectation and longing. Your heart races, but you know you can't stay here. You shouldn't have come in the first place. You slam the gear into drive and speed away, spiraling down the dark road that leads back to the world outside. But the feeling doesn't leave you. That pulse of existence, the chilling whisper of "stay with me," reverberates through your mind, a haunting melody now forever etched in your memory. The cabin recedes into the distance, swallowed by the forest. But you can't help but feel as though you've left a piece of yourself behind, a fragment of your life entwined with the darkness that waits patiently for another traveler to wander too close to its grasp. You drive into the night, the taint of that terrible encounter clinging to you like the scent of damp earth and shadow. And just as you settle into the familiarity of your own skin, surrounded by the safety of the outside world, doubts creep in. Was it all in your mind? A trick of the light, the natural noise of the woods playing on your senses? But deep down, you know the truth. The locket still rests in your bag, an unholy connection you can never fully sever. You shudder at the prospect of the dreams that will haunt you. Silhouettes, whispers, calls for companionship, the dark, aching need to belong. What if you never truly left? As the headlights illuminate your path home, you glance in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see a shadow trailing behind you, ever present, forever seeking. And all at once, you remember that some doors once opened are far too difficult to close again.